All right. Well, at this time, I'm going to ask all kids that are in the service to come join me and sit in something of a semicircle here around me on the platform. No. Yes. Sit in a semicircle here, crisscross applesauce all around. Perfect. Today's a scary day for me because, as you've all heard, kids say the darndest things. And we're going to ask them some questions today, and I didn't script the conversation, so none of the kids know what we're talking about, but we're going to have some fun today. Today we're going to embrace a little messiness, and so anytime we do things like this, it's a little chaotic, but we believe that children are a precious gift from the Lord, and a little bit of chaos is worth it if they get to hear and we get to engage and talk around the things of the Bible. And so, are you kids excited today? Okay. Okay. Are we excited today? Yeah. Yes. Okay, good. So we're all going to sit. We're going to be respectful. I'm going to ask you some questions. And so if you want to talk, raise your hand and I'll call on you, okay? All right. First off, I want to do a little poll. We can loosen up a little bit. Who has a pet? Who has a pet? All right, tell me the name of your pet, and if you've trained them, how easy was it for you to train them? Okay, you want to go first, Isabella?
I'm not Isabella.
Oh.
I'm not Isabella.
Oh, goodness. That's Gracelyn. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
My dog's name is Chewy, and we haven't trained him yet, though.
You haven't trained him yet?
And I have a cat named Emily.
Is she better trained?
No.
No.
No. She jumps everywhere.
Okay.
No.
Hand the mic to Amaryllis.
I have a hamster named Teddy
A hamster named Teddy.
that I did not train.
He doesn't do any tricks? No, okay. Who else?
Me.
Okay, hand it over here.
I have a horse named AJ. I wouldn't say she's easy to train. I wouldn't. I got thrown off of her, but I'm good. So
I want you to hold up your cast for everybody.
I have a fractured wrist, so I wouldn't say she's necessarily easy.
Okay, good. Who else wants to share? Okay, go ahead, Lillian.
I have a dog named Crumb, and the only thing that he can do is sit, and he is not very easy to keep still.
Okay.
I have 3 cats, and their names are Kyla, Daisy, and Toby can shake my hand if I bribe him.
If you bribe them, what do you bribe them with? Food. Okay, we'll call it there for now, but you guys can answer in a second. Now, which of you knows what a shepherd is? What's a shepherd?
He protects his sheep.
He protects his sheep. Good, very good. Who else wants to add to that? Go ahead, not Isabella.
He leads the sheep.
He leads his sheep. Good. All right. Who else? You want to share, Josh?
He guides his sheep by still waters.
He guides his sheep by still waters. Good. Okay. Now, what do you know about sheep? I've got some sheep here. Who wants to hold the sheep? Me. You want to hold the sheep? All right. Who wants to hold the other sheep? There we go. I got 2 more. All right. And there we go. All right, you guys can share. All right, who knows about sheep? Gracelyn, you want to share?
They're very stupid.
They're very stupid. That's perfect. All right. Well, how stupid are they? Turn your attention over to the screens, okay? So, what happened in that video?
There's a crack in the road, and the sheep fell in it. They rescued it, and then it ran back into it.
Uh-huh. So sheep are pretty stupid, huh? Yeah. Are we ever like sheep?
No. Yes.
No? Yeah. Do you ever jump back into the same mistake you just made? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sheep, they wander if where one person goes, all of them tend to go, even if it's in a mistake, we can do the same sort of thing. What they really need is what? Say it.
A shepherd.
A shepherd, that's right. And that's the point that David makes in Psalm 23. And so, what I want to do is I want to look at Psalm 23 together, and we'll just go a little part by part. So in verses 1 through 3, David says this, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake." And so if the Lord is the shepherd, what does that make us? Sheep, right. And what does a sheep need? Raise your hand if you'd like to share.
It's shepherd.
It needs its shepherd, right? But what are some of the needs the sheep have?
Food.
Food. What else?
Water.
Water. Anything else?
Protection.
Protection. Good. Anything else? Anyone else would add?
The shepherd needs to use its rod and staff to protect the sheep.
So they need protection. Anything else the sheep need? How about guidance? Yeah. You know? You got something, Fletcher?
I forgot.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Sometimes the sheep need to remember. You know, the shepherd can help them with that sometimes. But so in the same way that sheep have all these needs and the shepherd meets them, if we are the sheep and the Lord is the shepherd, what does that say about what the Lord does for us? Raise your hand if you want to answer.
He protects us.
He protects us. All those same things we just talked about, that's what the shepherd does for us. And so in this, we have to make an important distinction, right? Because there's a big difference between a need and a want. Who knows the difference? Who can tell me the difference? Go ahead, Graceland.
A want is something that you do not need, and a need is something that you need to stay alive for.
Right. So there's a big importance difference. Anyone else would add anything else to that?
A want is something like you don't necessarily need, but you kind of want it really, really bad. Like you want to get it. A need's like something you cannot survive without.
Right. So big stakes are much, much higher. So let me just do a little test. Is a fun toy a need or a want? You can answer all together. Want. Is oxygen a need or a want? Need. Is my morning coffee a need or a want? Need. You're wrong about that. I'm just kidding. It's a want, all right? But whenever it comes to wants, we often think, hey, if I just had that toy, that would make me really happy. Or if I just made it to the team, or if I got cast in that show, then I'd be really happy. Well, if I was popular in my school, if everyone liked me, then I'd be really happy. If I had money, then I'd be really happy. But what happens whenever we finally get the thing we wanted? Go ahead.
You might not want it anymore, or you think you should have picked something else.
So once we finally get what we've long wanted, maybe we find it's not always as satisfying as we thought. Maybe we're happy for a little while, but eventually, do you ever start wanting something else? Yeah, eventually your satisfaction ends and you keep on longing. And so while it may make us happy for a little while, it can't satisfy our hearts forever. And this is, I think, one of the things that we have to recognize whenever we talk about David's words here, I shall not want. What does he mean whenever he says, I shall not want? He's saying, just think of it through this lens, okay? If I look to something besides God, something is going to happen. One of two things is going to happen. Either, one, I don't get what I want, and then I'm unhappy, or I do get what I want, then I find that that's not enough, and then I'm also unhappy. And so whenever David says, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, he's not saying he has everything he could possibly desire. What he's saying is he has everything he needs. And the greatest thing he needs is who?
God.
God. That's right. In Philippians, Paul, he talks about how he has learned to be content in any situation, whether it is in abundance, in plenty, or it is in lack and need. Why is that? Well, it's because he recognizes the Lord has met his truest needs. And so instead of thinking always about what you don't have, one of the things that we have to do is recognize, just stop and notice, what has God actually given me? One of my favorite theologians and pastors today is John Piper. Maybe you've heard the name John Piper, and he has this quote I really like. He says, "God is most glorified in us when we are most satisfied in him." And so, what can you be thankful for? Raise your hands if you'd like to share something you'd be thankful for. You got something to be thankful for? Think about it.
My family.
Your family? Good. What else? Who has go ahead.
Life.
Life. Absolutely.
My parents.
Your parents?
Jesus.
Jesus?
My siblings.
Your siblings?
My friends.
Your friends?
My family.
Your family? Anyone else want to share something you can be thankful for?
Jesus. God.
God?
Food.
Food. Good answer. See, often we can you ever be so focused on the stuff you want that you don't even think about the stuff you have? Is that ever possible? Yeah. So often what we need to do is we need to change our attitude of complaining into an attitude of thanksgiving. What happens whenever we have faith? This is what happens. We say, I might not have everything I want, but I have a good shepherd, and he knows everything I need. Therefore, I can rest. Whenever you don't have what you want and you're constantly worried, it's hard to rest. But if you know you have the Lord, you can rest. So we're going to do something a little interactive now. We're going to do a congregational response. So I'm going to give a call, and you're going to give a response, okay? And so whenever I say this, when I follow the Lord as my shepherd, I want you to finish the statement and say, my shepherd gives me what I need. Okay, I've got it here on the screen right there. You can see, my shepherd gives me what I need. And I'm going to ask all of our congregation to join us in this. And so whenever I say, when I follow the Lord as my shepherd, you're going to say, my shepherd gives me what I need. Okay, we're going to do it again. Whenever I follow the Lord as my shepherd, my shepherd gives me what I need. Okay, good. Keep that in mind. We're going to come back to it, all right? Now we're going to go to the next part, all right? Verse 4. And this is where the entire scene pivots, okay? David, he's no longer resting beside still waters. What we don't see is a peaceful scene anymore. Now he's walking through a very dark and scary valley. So what are some things that we can often be scared about? Raise your hands. Go ahead, Gracelyn.
Tornadoes.
Tornadoes, good.
When you're lost.
When you're lost.
Fire.
Fire. Take it.
Being alone.
Being alone.
Movies about kidnappings.
Movies about kidnapping. Not the kidnappings themselves, just the
Oh, yeah.
movies about kidnappings.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Okay, good. Stage fright, maybe?
My animals.
Animals. There's lots of scary animals.
I am scared of the dark.
The dark?
Being lost, like, you really don't know what to do when you're lost.
Yeah, not knowing what to do when you're lost.
Getting taken away from my mom and dad and my sister.
Okay, not just movies about it, though, to actually getting taken away. Okay. Well, here's what's interesting, okay? Sometimes we can believe something wrong about God. Sometimes the wrong thing we believe about God is that He's never going to allow us to walk into any scary, hard situation. But that's not what the Bible teaches. What the Bible actually teaches is this. This is what David says. Not, there are no dark valleys. He says, Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. So God, he doesn't promise that life will just be super easy. In fact, repeatedly in the Bible, he promises life is going to be hard sometimes. But he also promises he's going to be with us every step of the way, even when we are in the dark valleys. And so how do you, like David, fear no evil? The answer is this: you've got to remember that the Lord is with you. Even whenever you don't know what's going on, what's going to happen next, how things are going to be resolved, whenever your imagination is working overtime and you're worried, oh, what's coming around the corner? I don't know. I'm in the dark. Here's what faith does. It doesn't pretend like, oh, everything's okay. It's not acting like these scary things aren't scary. Instead, what faith does is it rests and it's comforted knowing I don't face these things alone. Does that make sense? I'm not facing this hard thing in front of me on my own. I'm not abandoned. My God is with me. There is no valley, no matter how dark, that the Lord is just going to abandon you into. No matter how bleak life gets, the Lord is still going to be with you. He's never, ever going to forsake you. God promises in Hebrews 13, he says, I will never leave you nor forsake you. Therefore, this is what David says. Josh, you mentioned this a moment ago. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. And so, who's ever seen one of these before, huh? Okay, it's a shepherd's staff. So what a shepherd would do with his rod is he would fight off any enemies, any predators from getting to his sheep. Okay? So he would protect his sheep using his rod. And with his staff, what he would do is he would guide his sheep. He would rescue his sheep. If they were caught in a brush, he would pull them in. there you go. And sometimes, if his sheep were misbehaving, he would correct them. We don't think about that all the time. What do you think? Does God ever tell us no? Yeah, he does tell us no sometimes. Sometimes it can be really offensive. We can get offended whenever God tells us no. But really, that's actually his correction is a part of his care. It's what shows us that he cares for us, the fact that he is going to correct us and tell us no sometimes. Why? Well, because he knows better. Is the sheep going to jump in that ditch a second time? Yeah. And so whenever the shepherd takes his staff and he pulls the sheep back from jumping in again, could the sheep get mad? Yeah. But is it what's best for the sheep? Also, yeah. And so sometimes God doesn't give us what we want. Sometimes we can get offended about it. But what we understand is the shepherd knows better than us, and he loves us too much to let us wander into something that's going to hurt us. He allows us sometimes to go into hurtful areas so that he can rescue us, but sometimes he stops us from going into those hurtful areas in the first place. And so let me ask you, would you rather walk through a dark valley alone or with a shepherd? With a shepherd. Good. This is why David says that he doesn't fear. Even whenever the road gets tough, it is the nearness of God that banishes fear. In 1 John 4:4, it says this, little children, you are from God and have overcome them, for he who is in you is greater than he who is in the world. And so we're going to try the congregational response again. Are you ready? This time, whenever I say, I have comfort in the dark because, I want you to say, my shepherd stays with me. Okay, you got that? All right, we're going to try that again. Try that all together now. Whole congregation. I have comfort in the dark because... Good. All right. Now we're going to move to the last part of this psalm, verses 5 and 6. This is the part of hope in the psalm. Here, this is where the picture changes one more time. Now, David is picturing himself as an honored guest sitting at God's table. This is what David says. He says, you prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. What does that mean? Well, David had enemies. David fought lots of battles. He was a warrior. He walked through very dark valleys at different times in his life, but ultimately we see those enemies didn't win. God won all of those battles. And so God, he welcomes David to his table. He cares for him. He gives him victory, and it's such a victory that David says this. He says, "You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows." That's a really beautiful, big victory. David, he continues, he says, "Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever." And so what that says is that whenever we trust in the Lord, he prepares a place for us. We have an eternal hope in the Lord. The shepherd, he doesn't just help his sheep survive today. He helps them survive forever. He gives them a place to dwell forever. He's leading them to an eternal home. And so in this life, what are some good things in this life? Name some good things in this life. Who wants to go first?
Our family.
Family.
Food and water.
Food and water. Lots of the things we were thankful for before. Yep.
Jesus is with us.
Jesus is with us. Any other good things in life?
Survival skills.
Survival skills. I love that answer. Last one.
Shelter.
Shelter. So these are the good things in life. These are the green pastures, and they are really good. But though we are by green pastures, though we are by still waters at other times, there are frightening places we go. There are the dark valleys. What do those look like? What are some of the dark valleys we might face in life?
Being alone from our parents.
Being alone. What are some other sad or scary things that happen in life? Kidnapping movies again. Go ahead, Amaryllis.
Death.
Death.
Being kidnapped.
Being kidnapped again. Yeah, death. Death is scary. There's so many scary, horrible things in life. And you know what? Those are truly frightening. Just as the green pastures are truly good, the dark valley is truly frightening and sad. But ultimately, none of those places is the final destination. The shepherd eventually is leading his people to dwell with him forever in some place even better. And so we're going to do this one last time, all right? Whenever I say, "I have hope for the future because," I want you to say, "My shepherd is leading me home." All right, you want to try that together? Yeah. I have hope for the future because my shepherd is leading me home. Okay, well now let's do a little recap, okay? Are you guys ready for a recap? All right, look at the screens. What you notice is Psalm 23, it is actually shaped like hills and valleys. It starts very high. It starts at a really good place. It starts with satisfaction, the green pastures, the still waters. It starts someplace lovely. But then as the story goes on, as this psalm goes on, it dips down. It dips down into that dark valley. And then, coming from that dark valley, it returns again to a high place, a hill, the highest of high places. This is our future hope. This is the greatest gift. Sitting at God's table in God's house. And here is the point. At every step of the journey, whether it's at the point of satisfaction, whether it's the point of comfort, or whether it's at that place of hope, God, our shepherd, he is faithful every step of the way. Here's the lie people think. We think God is only faithful, our shepherd is only faithful on the hilltops. But that's not true. He is faithful every step along that wavy journey. Every up and down, he is faithful. So, because verse 4, that dark valley, that's the center of the psalm, and I believe kind of the main climax of the psalm, I want to just spend a couple of moments talking more about the importance of that part. One thing that's really hard about this psalm, just hard about life, is that the right path sometime passes through the dark valley. The Lord, he leads us in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. That's what verse 3 says. But in the very next verse, it describes one of those paths as going through the valley of the shadow of death. One thing we have to understand is We have a shepherd, a sovereign God who's in control of everything. So nothing is a mistake to him. He's in control of everything. He understands everything that's going to happen. And it's hard to believe whenever we're in the dark valley, but the shepherd, he is leading us through it. Not to stay in the dark valley forever, but because he has an even higher hill he is leading us to. Now, we may not understand why God is leading us through a particular dark time in our lives. We may not understand where this path is leading, but we can know this, okay? Listen, God, he has not abandoned us there. He has not abandoned us there, wherever it is we find ourselves. He is always beside us. He is guiding us. He is able to use even what hurts for our good if we look to him as our shepherd. Romans 8:28 is one of my favorite verses in all of Scripture. It says that God works all things together for good for those who love him. That does not mean the valley itself is good. Valley's pretty dark. It's pretty bleak. It's pretty wicked. But even a dark valley cannot stop God, stop our shepherd from accomplishing his purposes. Do you hear me on that? Our shepherd, he knows the way. So what we have to do is we have to keep trusting him. We have to keep obeying him. We have to take his hand and put faith in him because he knows the way. And so now, let's put it all together. Are you ready? Here, sit up. All right, we're all ready? We're going to do this all together. When I follow the Lord as my shepherd, I have comfort in the dark because I have hope for the future because Good. That should put a sheepish grin on your faces. However, today, let me just get serious for a second, okay? Maybe you don't feel like you have any of the promises here. Maybe whenever you think about this psalm, you realize my needs aren't satisfied. Maybe you feel totally alone in the dark valley. Maybe you lack hope for the future. You're doubtful that things will ever get better. And this is what I want to challenge you with. If that is how you're feeling today, your feelings may not be wrong. Perhaps what those feelings are meant to convict you of is that you have not looked to the shepherd in any of those places. You have not looked to him for the satisfaction. You have not looked to him for the comfort. You've not looked to him for the hope. And so whenever you haven't been receiving these things, the fault is not in the shepherd who wants to provide them to you. Sometimes the fault is in the sheep who runs away from the shepherd. In order to receive the blessings from the shepherd, you have to actually put faith in the shepherd. And so David, he doesn't just say that the Lord is a shepherd. What does David say? The Lord is what? My shepherd, right? What does that mean? It means something active and something personal. This is a relationship I have with my shepherd. It's not just something that's passive and impersonal. And so sometimes, if we are looking to the shepherd very passively, very impersonally, we walk away from the shepherd, we don't listen to his voice, it's not right of us to get upset at him whenever we don't find any of those three things in our lives. Can you say, like David, the Lord is my shepherd? Ask that question. Think about that question. Can you say the Lord is my shepherd? And here's the test. Whenever you're on the hilltops, do you look to him? And whenever you're in the dark valleys, do you look to him? Sometimes we can be faulted either way. Sometimes when life is good, we don't act like we need God, not realizing he's the one who's provided all of that to us. Other times, we may be in the dark valleys and we may think God's abandoned us. In both places, whether it is in a high place or a low place, God calls us to turn and look to him as our provider, as our shepherd. And so if you've wandered off, if you're not looking to the Lord as your shepherd, I want you to know this. Our God is a God who goes out and he seeks after his lost sheep. Even though he is 99 in the pasture, he loves each one of his sheep so much that he is willing to go out and find the one that was lost. And so if you're the one that's wandered and not been looking to him, no, he cares about you and he's inviting you back. And maybe today you see him coming for you. Let me encourage you to take his hand, to put your faith in him as your shepherd. There's nothing more important you can do in your life. And so, one thing you might ask, what does that look like? What does it actually mean to have faith? Well, faith in God is not just believing he exists. That's a huge lie our world tells us, that faith in God is just mentally ascending to the fact that he exists. That's not faith. What is faith? Faith is trusting him. Faith is listening to his voice and following him. And so we're going to do a little game all together to show what faith looks like. And so I'm going to pick 2 kids to be my sheep for me. Who would like to be the sheep? Okay, I'm going to choose you. Remind me your name? Brooklyn, okay. And I'm going to choose Josh. Okay, Josh and Brooklyn. All right, now I'm going to need all of y'all to move to the sides of the platform, okay? Move to the sides and make a nice clean semicircle, okay?
My baby sheep.
All right, give me the sheep for now.
Bye-bye, sheepy.
All right, Josh, Brooklyn, I want you to stand right here side by side, okay? Stand up, side by side. Oh, you're doing your sheep, I see. Okay, Josh, I'll let you pick first. Would you like the black blindfold or would you like the very manly pink? Okay, he chose. Go ahead, put that on, put it tight. And then Brooklyn, you're going to get the pink. I'm going to... All right. There we go. Can you see anything?
No.
No? Good. You can see a little bit?
It's at the bottom a little bit.
All right. We'll correct that in a second. All right. Oh, no.
Oh, I see a lot.
Can you tell I wasn't a Boy Scout that knew how to tie good knots? Here, can you do that for a second? All right, Josh, I want you to give me... Oh, here, let me tighten this for you.
I can't see anything.
Good, that's what I want. All right, Josh, I want you to give me your best sheep sound. Give me your best bleat.
Bah!
Very good. All right. Brooklyn, I want you to give me your best sheep sound.
Bah!
Come on, give me something better than that.
Bah!
All right, that was pretty good.
Let me see my eyes.
Next, I want to select a kid to be my shepherd. All right. Isaac, you want to be the shepherd? All right. Isaiah. Okay, sorry. All right, you're going to be the shepherd. All right. Brooklyn, Josh, I want you to listen to Isaiah's voice. Isaiah, I want you to call very loud your sheep. Give him a call.
Sheep.
All right, do you two feel good about knowing his voice? Stay right there, stay right there.
Bah!
All right, just right there. Don't move. All right, I'm just guiding you. Stay right there, don't move. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move all of the kids around on the platform. And then, so all you kids move around, find a new place somewhere on the platform. And make a nice clean semicircle around, okay? Don't be peeking, cheater.
Not me.
All right, now I want all you kids to stand up, okay? In a second, I'm going to ask all the kids to start calling for these 2 sheep. And you 2 sheep, I'm going to need you to go listen to the voice of your shepherd and go touch the person you think is your shepherd, all right? Give me a thumbs up if you understand your instructions. Josh?
Yeah.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, in a second, no, not yet. I'm going to ask all the kids to start shouting out and calling for your sheep. And then the sheep, as soon as you start hearing their voices, you can go follow them, okay? In 3, 2, 1. All right, locked in. Okay. Now, did either one of them find their shepherd? No. No. Why was that difficult? Who wants, raise your hand. Why was that difficult?
There's so many of us, and then there's only one shepherd.
That's hard. If there's so many false voices trying to call for your attention, that's difficult. Who else wants to answer?
Because we're all yelling sheep.
Yeah, there's lots of voices. All right, we're going to try this again, all right? All right, I'm going to bring you back towards the center, okay? Just stay right there. Josh, I'm going to do the same thing for you. I'm going to bring you right back towards the center. It's okay, I got you. All right. Now, Isaiah, he's going to just be a part of the false voices, and I'm going to ask someone with a much louder, booming voice to come and be the shepherd. You can do your Irish accent from VBS if you like. Oh boy. Now, go ahead and call for your sheep. Sheep! I can't do it now. All right. Do you know the voice of your shepherd now? All right, let's hear it again. Make it loud and booming. Sheep! All right, very good. Now you're going to wait there. Just stay right there. And now go put yourself somewhere amongst the crowd of false voices. All right. Now listen for the big booming voice of your shepherd, all right? Can you do that? Yeah? All right. In a second, I'm going to ask you all to start screaming their names and calling them as sheep. I want you two to try to find the voice of your shepherd, all right? Can you do that for me? Okay, we're going to do it in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, all right, give him a round of applause. You can take that off now. All right, thank you. All right, take another seat around. Thank you. All right, now raise your hand. What was easier about that second round? How come all of the sheep could find their shepherd this time? Micah's really loud. All right.
Because he grabbed his staff and pulled him.
That's right.
Because my dad's accent is really easy to find.
His accent was easy. All right, so we heard two things there. One, the voice was louder. 2, the voice was more recognizable. And 3, he used his staff to pull in his sheep. See, how important is it that we listen to the right voice in life? Is it important or not important? That's important. Are there lots of voices in life that try to get your attention? What are some of those voices that try to get your attention in the world and try to tell you what to do? Raise your hand if you got an answer. Go ahead, Amaryllis.
The devil.
The devil. Oh, we jumped to the deep end immediately. Yes. Who else? Who else tries to get your attention in this world? Go ahead.
Anybody who's trying to persuade you.
Anyone who's trying to persuade you? Yep.
God.
God. What else?
The devil.
The devil? Who else? What about people you interact with all the time? Anyone else?
My friends.
Who else?
Your peers.
Your
Peers.
pears?
Peers.
Oh, peers. Yes. Some talkative fruit. Okay. Parents. Yeah. We got the pears and the parents. Peers, I know.
The people at restaurants who call your name when your food is ready.
Okay, good answer. Okay, and as we know from that last one, can you always trust those people who clamor for your attention? No, not always. Now, I'm not saying your peers or your parents or, any of those other voices are always wrong, but can you trust them 100% of the time? Yes or no? No, you can't. Sometimes people are wrong. And sometimes the devil uses people to guide you on the wrong paths. And so, can we always trust Jesus? Yes or no? Yes. And Jesus, the reason we can trust him is because he is not just a shepherd, he is a good shepherd. This is what Jesus says. He says, "My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me." So faith, it means recognizing the voice of Jesus. What are some ways that we can learn to recognize? Just as Mike's voice stood out and you were able to recognize him, what are some ways we can recognize the voice of our shepherd? Anyone have any ideas? Any thoughts? Well, how about reading the Bible? How about understanding what his voice sounds like? You know, you've got all these voices out there in the world that are clamoring for your attention. How are you going to know the voice of your shepherd if you're not listening to him as much as you can? See, we have to look in the Bible and we have to ask, what does our shepherd sound like? And we've got to get accustomed to his voice. Jesus says, "The sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me." The sheep know the voice of the shepherd. Jesus, he is a good shepherd. He says, "I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for his sheep." So the shepherd, he loves you sheep so much, he died just in order to rescue you. He gave his life. Jesus gave his life on the cross for our sins. He rose again so that anyone who puts faith in him, anyone who trusts in him, can be forgiven. They can be restored. They can be given eternal life. They can have all the stuff we talked about. They can have the satisfaction. They can have the comfort, and they can have the hope. He laid down his life to save you. And so here's a big question, all right? Everyone listen up. Based on what you heard today, do you want to put your faith in Jesus? Raise your hand if you do. Good. All right, so I'm going to send you back to your parents. Would you go have a conversation with your parents this afternoon and just talk about what it looks like to follow the shepherd? Yes? Okay, parents, would you help with those kind of conversations maybe this afternoon about what it looks like to follow the shepherd? This is an opportunity I want to give you as a family to be able to talk about this together. And so, if you would please give the kids a round of applause for their participation. All right, go ahead back to your seats with your parents.
Please stay here.
All right. Well, that was fun today. Here's what I want to do next. If you today, regardless of where you are, if you've trusted in the shepherd, if you've been lost wandering in the wilderness for some time and you need the shepherd to restore you, wherever it is, if you would like to put your faith in the shepherd today, I would call you to stand boldly where you are all together, and we're going to read this psalm all together as a congregation. So if you would please stand. And as we stand and as we read this, I would encourage you, do not just make this psalm a psalm you are reciting. Make this psalm your psalm, a psalm that you are praying aloud to the Lord. Don't just say that the Lord is a shepherd. Confess that he is your shepherd. And so if you would please read this together with me. "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever." Amen. Will you remain standing as we sing this next song together?